Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I hope you're having a wonderful. What day is this? Thursday? Sure, let's call it a Thursday. Hope you're having a good Thursday. Man, I'm not. I'm awake way earlier than I wanted to be. I went to bed sometime. Finally fell asleep probably around 4, and woke up about 7:30. Oh. I just was annoyed, and my body's like, you know what, Frank? We're not real fond of you today. So I'm having one of those mornings, and probably should have stayed away from Twitter. I probably should have went and played a video game or something else to relax me rather than going over to Twitter where my blood pressure was going to go up. I spent a lot of yesterday in stupid arguments with dumb people because it's what I do. It brings me some joy, don't get me wrong. But every so often one will actually annoy me to the point of I can't believe I share the world with these dumb sons of bitches. You know, I how can we be of the same species and then be that goddamn dumb? And there was two that came across my path today. One was more silly. That Caitlin Bennett chick. She's the ramen-haired chick that had the gun on the Kent University campus, Kent State. She's come out with a new T-shirt that says that Trump is her king. It says Trump's not just my president, he's my king. And it's like, all right. I see what you're going for there. I see you're trying to capitalize on the Trump will never leave office kind of thing. But as an American, the notion of a king offends me to my core. No, it's actually spelled king, not Kang, correct? I could bring it up, I'm sure. Didn't I respond to the tweet? Oh, yeah, I think I did. That's how tired I am, you guys. I don't even know what I've done this morning, really. Where's she be? Here it is. Here it is, y'all. Here's her sporting her shirt that she's selling. You can get yourself a copy of it if you want. There she is. Trump is my king. You know. When you sell yourself as, a hardcore America, maybe the best way not to do it is with a King t-shirt, you fucking idiot. Oh my God. Like I said, I think I know what she was going for. I think she was going for the Trump will never leave office thing. But perpetual president, that kind of president for life, okay. I wouldn't agree with all of those, really, but all right. My king, as an American, we haven't had a king for 244 years. And the reason for that is we kicked the last one out because he was a shithead. Remember us wanting to be free? Rule ourselves. Remember any of that, Caitlin? I understand that girls don't get schooling as well as boys, from what I'm told. Is that what happened here? Justin said that was either projection or a serious troll. Look, I think she was trying to troll. I really do. I think she was trying to troll using the Trump will never leave office thing. But that's the wrong wording to do it with. That is the wrong wording to do it with. You wanted to say emperor? All right. Again, president for life? Fine. King? No. America, bitch. No, we don't do that here. Yeah. Didn't you Yanks have a bit of a shindig about the whole king thing? Yeah, we a little bit. Back around the 1776 time era, we decided to tell the king to go get fucked, and Ramen Head Girl here apparently skipped that part of American history. Like I said, I get what she was trying for, but she played herself. She played herself this time, which, by the way, she's done many times. You guys remember when she shot up that cardboard with "Happy Holidays" painted on it? That was one of my favorites. Like, I don't even understand what you're going for here. She's not that funny. She's not horribly ugly. Don't get me wrong. There's just something weird looking about her. And I'm not going to, YouTube gets mad if we make fun of people's appearances. So I'm not going to make fun of her appearances other than her ramen headed hair. But it's not like she's overly attractive or she's overly smart or she's overly clever. So I really don't get the appeal of this chick. But this one is like, oh man, Trump is my king. No, 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 no. Stop it. I love her videos, but she'd hate me for being pro-choice. Have you seen her Baby Lives Matter merch? It's cringeworthy. Yeah, I went over and I looked at her merch. I don't mind her selling it, and if she wants Baby Lives Matter, that's fine. I've never... I don't pay attention to her until she says something incredibly fucking stupid or does something incredibly fucking stupid. And yep, there she is again. God damn. She's just dumb, which makes me question the value of an education at Kent State. Apparently it hasn't improved much since the 60s. Is it the same Kent State? I don't even know. I've never looked into it because, I mean, you have colleges around that have similar names. So is it the same one where the National Guard shot people all them years ago? Anyway, so Caitlin's out there doing stupid shit. And then I saw the one that really pissed me off, and the one that brings us to the title of the show. The other night during the debate, Donald Trump is asked if he will denounce white supremacy and militia organizations. And immediately, if you watch the tape, he says, sure. Immediately. At that point, in the middle of the damn question, as soon as that is asked, sure. But then Chris has to keep going on, and they're pushing for him to say, I denounce right-wing supremacists or right-wing white nationalist supremacist pieces of shit. And we had a little discussion about it while we were watching. And Scribe said he should say that. He should say it. I'm like, I mean, he should, I guess. But it really won't matter if he does or not. It doesn't matter. And I bring up as proof the fact that twice in that debate already, the very fine people have been brought up. Biden brought it up once, and Chris Wallace brought it up once. So today, I'm over on my Twitter machine, and I follow MSNBC. I follow all of the big news organizations, guys. It's not hate follows. It's just to see what okay. With MSNBC and CNN, it's mostly turned into hate following, but it's not on purpose. I follow them to see what the news headlines are. But it often manifests itself as, God, I hate these shitheads. And in this case, MSNBC tweets out, Joe Scarborough tweeted, quote, at Joe NBC, quote, what President Trump can't do is say, when asked, do you condemn white supremacy? He will never say yes. He will never say yes. And so, real quick, Kingslayer, Damocles, thank you. All he has to say is white supremacy is an idea, not an organization. They should be okay with that. LOL. Oh, they would not be okay with that at all. At all. They would be like, oh, that's a dog whistle. That's a dog whistle. But anyway, in response to Joe, let's get the brand off here real fast. I tweeted this. Make sure volume's up. It's not.
but you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine
for some reason
statue because he was a major slave owner.
Here we go.
Now we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But
neo-Nazis and white supremacists should be condemned totally.
You had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people in the other group too.
Treated unfairly, sir. I'm sorry, I just didn't understand what you were saying. You were saying the press has treated white nationalists unfairly.
No.
I just didn't understand.
Were any of you guys confused about who Trump was saying was treated unfairly? Because the media was right there. You get it. He says there were people other than the white nationalists who were treated unfairly. And she's like, wait. I'm sorry. Are you saying the white nationalists were treated unfairly? This is how it all started. This is how the very fine people started. That the very fine people remark comes way up here. And if you guys want, I will throw this into chat so you guys can watch the entire thing for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I never want you guys to do that. But this is where they should be condemned totally. Where's the ambiguity at all? Well, apparently it's here. Only took him 3 tries in a speech someone else wrote, then immediately pivoted back to explaining the other side was worse. Nailed it. He didn't say the other side was worse. He said there were bad people on the other side too, and the media wasn't treating them badly at all. Ignoring them completely is what he was getting at there. But this remark only took him 3 tries in a speech. This isn't a speech. He's answering questions. These are off-the-cuff remarks. A speech someone else wrote, then immediately pivoted back to explaining the other side was worse. Nailed it. This is what I was getting at. It literally does not matter what the president says. The president could come out every single time they say, well, you condemn white nationalists. Yes, I condemn white nationalists. And I'll be like, oh, he's only saying that to get cover. He's only saying that because we made him. He's only saying that because he knows it's what we want to hear. There's literally no winning here. He said it repeatedly, actually. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So I kind of understand why he doesn't want to play their game. I do. I understand why he doesn't want to get up there and go, yeah, sure, I'll denounce him again, even though you're going to fucking ignore it again. I'd probably do it that way. I probably would have looked at Chris Wallace and go, why the fuck would I say it again when you didn't listen the last time, you slimy little piece of shit? But I'm not presidential. So, I mean, this motherfucker, Chris Wallace, literally brings up the comments from this fucking press conference. The very fine people on both sides. This is why when Biden brought it up, Trump says, say the rest of it. Say the rest of it. Chris Wallace didn't make him say the rest of it, did he? In fact, Chris Wallace repeated it himself without saying the rest of it. And I do think that's a missed opportunity for Trump. I think Trump should have brought it up. He should have brought up, look, it does not matter how many times I say it. It doesn't matter what I say. You're going to go with the narrative you want, no matter what words come out of my fucking mouth. And again, right there. Right fucking there. Proof that the man has absolutely condemned it because Joe Scarborough says, hey, he's never going to do that. Proof. He absolutely did it. And what was the response? Well, that doesn't really matter. That doesn't really matter. Can't imagine why Trump doesn't like playing their reindeer games. It's just so fucking stupid, man. And again, this goes all the way back to Trump launching his candidacy. When he makes the speech, when he's talking about how they're not sending their best people. When he's talking about illegals coming over and committing crimes. He wasn't saying every Mexican was a criminal. In fact, by saying they're not sending their best, suggests that there are people who aren't. And that's even if you can understand context of words, even a little bit. Excuse me. But he was talking specifically about the people who come over here and commit fucking crimes. And what was the press's answer? Oh my God, Donald Trump is racist. And why? Because Donald Trump ran as a Republican. They thought, well, we killed him here because nobody thought he was actually going to run. He'd been toying with it for years, decades, in fact, toying with the idea of maybe running for politics. There's a video going around right now of Chris Wallace interviewing Donald Trump. I want to say it was back in '88, I think is the date. But he's at the RNC convention, and Chris Wallace asks him about running for president. He goes, yeah, I think I'd win if I ran for president. So even way back then, he's like, yeah, I'd win if I ran. But nobody ever took him seriously. And he was a big-time New York Democrat. He would go in with the Republicans from time to time. Like in that case, he said that he believed George Bush would be the next president and he'd be a good president. Fair enough. But he ran, and oh my God, we've got him, you guys. And they had their big story. I don't even think at that point it was about bringing down Donald Trump as it was, we have a big story. We have racist Republican Trump. It's not what he said. Did not matter. And almost any other campaign would have been sunk right there. With the amount of coverage that got, any other campaign would have been sunk right there. And then Kate Steinle gets killed. Kate Steinle gets killed and brings attention to the fact that, hey, maybe there's some bad people coming across the border being allowed to stay here when they shouldn't. Because her murderer was a illegal who'd been deported what, 7, 8, 12, I forget how many times. More than once. And he was living in the sanctuary city of San Francisco, where illegals go to just live legally. This is Kyle. Thank you. Hello, chat people in Monkey. Hello, sir. Hope you're well. Thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, brought to you by you guys. If you can, hit the like button and share and donate. And you guys know the spiel. I'm too annoyed and tired to do a proper shilling. 8 times, I'm told. Yeah, I knew it was a bunch of times. So that it puts him back in the spotlight. And the media got mad. Because he was supposed to be canceled. Their power suddenly wasn't theirs anymore. It's the first real instance of the media being completely rejected by the internet. Because that Steinle story jumps up and it just takes over everything. And suddenly Trump is reinvigorated. He had never stopped his campaign, but it was very muted. And then that happens. Bam. Suddenly there's all kinds of attention to Trump. Trump said this. He said that they're not sending their best. He wasn't being racist. He's pointing out this shit. And look, this is happening all around the country where you have people who are put on detainers by ICE and you have city officials who are like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And then these people are being turned loose in those communities and sometimes with deadly effect. Clifford, thank you so much, who says hi from Warsaw, Poland. Hello. Hope you're well over there today. And I'm glad you're not speaking German. Not that the French, we're going to help you with that. I'm just I like the French. They make good bread. That was the first real time that the press had been just completely neutered when it came to deciding who gets to run for a presidency. Every other time that they decided to go after, every time they decided to go after a candidate, they were able to tear him down. This was the first time, and they did not like it, and they still don't. They've been trying ever since. And then it just kept getting worse and worse for them, because one by one, he knocked off the Republican candidates. And then it's just him and Hillary, and it doesn't matter at that point, guys. Hillary's going to win. Hillary's going to win. This is a joke candidacy. It's a joke candidacy. Nobody takes him seriously. Then election night comes. Woo-hoo. Election night comes, and oh boy, the media just doesn't know what to do with itself, because they are certain that we are going to see a Hillary Clinton presidency. It's her turn, you guys. It was her turn. I'm with her. Except the American people went, nah, I don't think so. Well, before California's vote came in, and it was called before, as soon as the last poll closed in California, California immediately called for Hillary, and those votes didn't matter. Did not matter. Because Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, all of these states that she was going to win, you guys, well, because Democrats took black voters for granted, she lost them. And you can just see it on their faces. It is amazing. For anybody who doesn't believe that the press is biased, if you don't believe the press is biased, go watch any of the streams from that night, from any news channel. And I'm not talking the TYT one. They're proud of their bias. Go watch MSNBC or CNN and listen. Watch the people who are actually running the broadcast and how their voice changes, how their demeanor changes over the course of that night. Especially once Florida's called, man. Oh my. When Florida's called, they're just like, you can see it. It's like they just got caught cheating on their girlfriend, and they realize that their girlfriend knows. You ever see that face? They go from, hey, baby, how are you? And, oh, shit. That's how it just changes their whole demeanor. And it hasn't changed since. Has not changed since. They have been out to get this president, not to report on him, to get him ever since. Ever since. Some of these people are the same people who, while Trump was running, when he made a joke asking the Russians to find Hillary's emails. He's asking the Russians to help him. Yep, that's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. He wasn't making a joke based on the popular headlines of the day. No. He was actually asking that. And how did they do? Did they go get those for him? Because I don't remember. As I understand it, the Russians were working for him, and I imagine they got those. Oh, that's right. No, they didn't. Because it was a fucking joke. Nobody would do that in a public fucking speech. Seriously. But, oh, man. They still like to bring that up. They still like to bring it up. The look on Maddow's face that night was priceless. Oh, it was tasty. What did she say? This is our country. Something like that. When you wake up tomorrow, Donald Trump will be your president. Except that's not exactly how it happens, Rachel. It takes a couple of weeks. a little over a month and a half, sweetie. Yeah, just watch how it happens. Watch his treatment. And I'm all for, hey, report on the president, hold his feet to the fire, but they're not doing that. They're making shit up. That was a bullshit question from Chris Wallace. Donald Trump has no control over the Proud Boys, But will you tell them to stand down? And there's a great thing because everybody's like, oh, he said to stand by and stand back. Well, if you watch the full exchange, Donald Trump is asked if he'll ask them to stand down. And there's a little bit of a back and forth with him going, whatever. What group do you want me to say? And the Proud Boys. All right, stand back, stand by. It sounds to me, and this is just me, you guys can watch it yourself and see. I don't have this one pulled up. I wish I did. But watch it yourself and see. It looks to me like he's trying to remember to say stand down because that was Chris's exact wording. And it's Trump literally going, fine, I'll say whatever the fuck you idiots want me to say. But it came out wrong. He didn't say it exactly right. And he never says, white supremacy bad, even though he's said it repeatedly in the past. Donald Trump, will you tell them? Didn't ask Joe to ask Antifa to stand down. Didn't ask that. But why not? Why not ask Trump to answer for groups that he's not a member of? I still like Anna Kay's response. I didn't see it. It comes off to me as him just trying to remember, because remember, he's trying to say what these idiots want him to say. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It doesn't matter what he says. Does not matter what he says. Because it's not about what he says. It's about what they want to believe. It's about the narrative that they want to push about him. I don't want to defend this man. I'd much rather talk policy, in which case, I don't care. For the most part, it's been fine. Not enough to make me vote for the man. I can't. We were talking last night. Like, can somebody give us a reason to, or what would Trump say to sell himself, and what should he say to tell people not to vote for Biden? And when it comes time to like, what should Trump say to sell himself? I'm like, I don't know. And Sinatra brought up the economy. I'm like, all right, I guess. I mean, if this was before COVID, absolutely the economy. The economy was what he was going to rock on because the economy was running great. But to change people's minds of other things he's done, I honestly don't know. A lot of it is too contentious. And a lot of it, I don't much think, at least for me, it's not something that you're going to say to me to get me to vote for you. We killed Soleimani. Good. We should have. I mean, I would hope any American president would do that, although we know they haven't. But that's just doing your job, in my opinion. There's nothing that I can point to like, yes, I fully support what he's doing right here that I can think of. Immigration, kind of, but I mean, even that is still a shit show. We haven't got it under control in any kind of real way. So, Failure B, thank you. The fact that they are blatantly ignoring the fact that he has denounced this stuff makes me sad. They need a reason to hate another human being. Oh, no, sweetie. They need a reason to hate this specific human being. Thank you for the donations. Don't worry, they hate the rest of us for other reasons. For Christ's sake, I was called a racist Bible thumper yesterday. You guys know how much I go out there and thump that Bible, right? And how much I hate people with different color skin than me. I hate these people. But no, this is specifically about taking down Trump, because Trump was never supposed to beat Hillary. It angered them. And it wasn't, see, there's a couple of things here. No matter what Republican, no matter what they're telling you right now, no matter what Republican beat Hillary, they were going to get all kinds of shit. Tons of it. From our press, lying about them, it was going to happen. But this was so much more than just that. So much more than just that, because not only did he beat Hillary, he beat them. He beat the press, you guys. That is where a lot of this shit really comes from. Goes all the way back to that first thing. That first thing. He was never supposed to make it past his campaign announcement. The wind was taken out of their sails. They lost the power. And they have been desperate to get it back and doing everything they can since. We'll talk about that more in just a second. Wolfgang, Sir Wolfgang, thank you so much. He says, I was once called an alt-right and a libtard in the same day. So needless to say, I gave up on political discourse online. I've gotten both of those as well. I think mine were like 2 days apart. There were a couple of stories that were going on at the same time that, yeah, I ended up with both. It just makes me laugh and move on. They've been trying to reclaim the power ever since. And they can't do it on their own. They can't. Because traditional media doesn't hold the power anymore. They hold a lot of it, but there gets to a point where they can't control what's going on in online discourse. Aha! Gamer Glean, thank you. How do you do there, fellow cripple? I'm fine. I hope you're well. And thank you for the donation. So what do you do? What do you do when you got your ass kicked by a flamboyant businessman who you guys threw everything in the kitchen sink at? Well, throwing this out there, maybe you write a piece about PewDiePie. Maybe you start writing pieces about how social media is allowing all this horrible stuff to happen. Maybe you write pieces about how Republicans got special help from the from the Russians through Facebook. Ooh. There you go. Maybe you start forcing them into taking down stuff you don't like. Nah, that could never happen. That's too conspiratorial, monkey. Those things would never happen. The mainstream media would never, ever leverage their power against social media companies to force them into silencing people like me. It couldn't happen. We couldn't get all kinds of new rules over and over again over the last couple of years from the executives at both YouTube and Google themselves because of pressure from the Wall Street Journal or CNN. Nah, man, that's fucked. Kevin Serve, thank you. The debate was 3 kids fighting in the playground. Anna's response was, am I better than you? Yes, I'm fucking better than you. Oh. Yeah, I didn't watch. I don't see a lot of people like it. It was playground fighting. It was a high school fight. I don't have a problem with grown-ups getting into arguments. I really don't. And I have no problem with them arguing over each other. If somebody's lying about you and you just sit there and take it, I actually kind of, well, I question you. I guarantee you, no matter what formal setting we're in, if you're lying about me, I'm going to, well, probably be dropping F-bombs left and right. We have this real aversion to people acting childish. Can't act childish. How dare you question somebody when they're lying? Watch what's going on. There are very few times when Trump interrupts when it's not actually germane to what's being said. And the times that fucking Biden interrupts, oh my God, they're not even mentioned. It happened repeatedly. And what about Wallace himself interrupting? 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer the question, sir. Trump would start to answer, and then Wallace would be, well, wait a minute. Happened over and over again. Doesn't matter, though, because it looked childish. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I had fun. And I'm okay with him getting down and dirty, and I don't mind it being contentious. I really don't. I prefer it that way. You can sit there and go, if you want to just see their policy positions, and I know there were people who were watching for that, and you don't want to watch this shit, go look at their web pages. Go read them. They're out there. Go read what it says their policy positions are and leave the debates to people like me who think it's funny. Who think it's funny that a doddering old man is the DNC's nominee, that Chris Wallace was absolutely opposed to Trump from the beginning, and Trump smacked them both with his dick over and over, to the point where they've changed the debate rules. Did you guys see the new debate rules for the debates coming up? If somebody talks out of turn, they're going to have their mic cut. For real? Clifford Bates, thank you. The expectation for Biden was so low that it was set up to keep things from falling apart. I think the only thing that Biden didn't meet with those expectations was having a doddering old man moment. He didn't do well in this debate at all. If you watch the exchanges, if you watch the whether it's the zingers that get back and forth, because of course everybody was trying for that clip moment. If you watch any of that stuff, Biden did horribly. Biden's best moments was when he turned and looked at the camera with a prepared speech. And even those were bad. The Green New Deal will pay for itself. So do you support it? Hell no, I don't support that thing. I support my own thing. Well, then why are you talking about whether the Green New Deal would pay for itself? Fuck you. My son wasn't kicked out for drugs. I'm proud of my son who left the army for drug abuse. Like, motherfucker, what'd you just say? Didn't you just say it didn't happen? Oh, man. Pincalo, thank you. The state of TDS is becoming an international crisis. Every conservative opposition member are now called Trump clones. Our election will be affected. Well, we see this all the time. I mean, and it does happen, both parties. Sorry, man, my nose itches. I've seen this happen with George Bush. I saw it happen with Reagan. I've seen it happen not as much with Clinton. Clinton wasn't seen as liberal as some of the others were. I mean, they tried to paint him that way, but he really wasn't. Clinton was a weird liberal in that Clinton's motivation was his legacy all along. Clinton would have said and done anything for that legacy. And that makes him very easy to control. That's why he went along with a lot of things that were actually, Republican in nature. Whether you guys like it or not, the NAFTA, that's more of a open trade between nations. That used to be a Republican thing. Republicans didn't turn against it until, Clinton signed it. Biden used dead son Bo to cover for Hunter. Yeah, well, he got upset because he was trying to talk up Bo, because that is his best platform right now, is my dead son was a good man. And Trump brought up Hunter, but there was no specific change in name. But for some reason in Joe's head, he forgot that his other son got kicked out, because Joe, if I remember correctly, never specifically says Bo when he's talking about his son that served. He apparently forgets that Hunter had served. Shit, that's right. The one who's getting drugs shoved up his ass, allegedly by hookers in New York City bars. It was a wonderful exchange. Now, there's some people, he brought his family into it. I saw that. Trump brought Biden's family into it. How low can you go? Well, we'll get to that in just a second. Caramon, thoughts on the evidence of Biden having an earpiece and a mic up his sleeve? Why won't they just admit they're puppeteers and Joe's a dummy. I don't know about an earpiece. I didn't see any actual evidence of that. As for the mic, it's questionable. The only thing that looks really ridiculous to me is the whatever that was in his sleeve. Saying that's a pen, you have the pointy part of a pen out. Even if you were tucking a pen into your white shirt, no, you don't. Holding it that way would be ridiculous. Kesver of old, are you going to pack the court? What you need to do is go out there and vote. We'll talk about that in just a moment too. But I forgot what I was talking about, so let's get to that now. Thank you, gentlemen, for the donations. The pack the court moment is the telling moment of that entire... Oh, talking about bringing the family into it. We'll do that. That's what I wanted to talk about. Hunter Biden is a fair topic in this discussion. And if he wants to bring up... if Biden wants to bring up the Trump children who are of age and working with it, that's fine too. If you have something about them, that's perfectly fine too, as long as it's in some way entailed. But Hunter specifically, with the Ukrainian business, the Chinese business, the Russian business, there's a lot of questions around there, including Hunter Biden, that $3 million that Trump kept bringing up. This goes to a company, I forget the name of it, but it shares the name with another company that's just slightly different. And Hunter created one of them, and he stepped down from it, even though he founded it in 2019, in October of 2019, so it wouldn't become a distraction for his dad, as his dad ran for president. That's a really weird thing to say. Why would you running a business, a perfectly legal United States business, you having nothing to do with your father's campaign, really, why would that hurt him at all? It's a question worth asking. And the whole reason for that is that there's a lot of really, the two companies, and God, I wish I could remember the names of them. I'm sorry, guys. The two companies, one of them is run by the Chinese, and the other was run by Hunter Biden. The Chinese who gave, Rosemont Sanka, thank you so much, Hate Camel. That's what it was, Rosemont Sanka. And there's like Rosemont Sanka Investments and Rosemont Sanka Derivatives, some shit like that. One of them's Biden's company, one of them's a Chinese company. And they're like, yeah, we're not real sure how these are connected. Nobody's ever answered that question. Nobody's ever denied that they are connected, to my knowledge. But let's go on to the Supreme Court one. This is a question that is incredibly important. And I'm glad you brought that up, Kevisar, exactly how you did, because he's asked if he would support packing the court. And this is the one place I will give Wallace credit, because when Wallace asked him the question, he said, Mr. Vice President, you've claimed that this is just a distraction from the Trump campaign, when in fact it's actually Democrats who are out there saying that you should pack the court. Are you going to do it? And Biden says, I'm not going to answer that question. And he's allowed to get away with it. And Trump's like, why aren't you going to answer that question? And he says, I won't answer that question because that'll become the issue. He says, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at you, the voter, and I'm going to tell you, you need to go out there and let your senators know what you think, and you need to go out there and vote. You need to go out there and vote when I'm not going to tell you what it is I'm going to do. This is a candidate who's literally telling you to go out there and vote for them blind. And they think that's a good idea. And I've been arguing with people for over 24 hours over that stupid shit. Because they're like, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, I want to be stupid when I vote. Frank, thank you. You don't have the blood for it and didn't say smart around me. Had me rolling. Part of me thinks Trump wanted that and the other interview to be hard questions just to get them out of the way. Otherwise, the Dust interview makes no sense, nor does Chris. There was a lot of it that didn't make sense, to be honest with you. Yeah, but I see what you're saying there. I do understand the people who want some red meat in there, and it would have been nice. But I'm also okay with the fighting. Whether or not this man would go along with a Senate proposal to increase the number of justices as a go around to get around Amy Barrett being put on the court is important. And there's a reason Joe didn't ask that question or answer that question. Joe didn't answer that question because he's right. That would have been a topic. And we know it would have been a topic because him saying that tells us, yes, he will. He will absolutely pack the court if given the chance. And you know what happens if you tell the country that? Oh, well then, yeah, we're not going to vote for that Democrat senator who could give him that opportunity. We're not going to vote for him because he would do that. Yeah, that would actually tip the scales. You're going to get a lot of people who right now might not even vote, who go, oh, hell no, I'm going to go out and vote on that one. There's a reason he didn't answer that. And there's a reason Chris let him get away with it. And it's not that Chris Wallace is for Joe Biden. I don't think he's for Joe Biden. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't know if he's for Joe Biden. He's definitely anti-Trump. We saw that with the interview. There was an interview that him and Trump had, was it 2 weeks ago now? I forget how long ago. And yeah, they had a contentious exchange over the 200,000 dead. And why didn't you tell the people everything you knew, Mr. President? Why weren't you out here in a panic like we want you to be now? Number one says, because the answer is yes, he will. Absolutely. Biden didn't answer whether or not he would stack the court because the answer is yes. Here's how we know that, okay? If Biden had said no, it dies right there. Will you pack this court? No. The end. There's nothing to talk about. Biden said he won't do it. The only way that story keeps going is if Biden says yes. Interesting. And instead, he turns to the fucking camera and tells people to go vote. I'm not going to tell you, but go vote anyway. You know, when they talk about, we didn't hear any of Biden's policies. Okay, that's fair. But when he specifically told us, I'm not even going to tell you this one. What the absolute fuck? And Torcular, thank you so much for the donation. Very kind of you. And for the kitty cat with the championship trophy. And I know there's going to be people mad that I call that a kitty cat. That's a cat, damn it. It was a complete shit show. Wallace had no business getting that job. Dom, we talked about that the night before on the pregame show. I was like, why is Wallace even up there? Why Wallace? I mean, if it hadn't have been for that interview a couple weeks before, however long before that was, I've been like, okay, Chris Wallace. I mean, they want to make sure it's somebody who's not solidly right. So they went with one of their newsmen who's been in the business a long time. Okay, fine. But he had shown an obvious bias against the president in that interview. And I would hope he could keep that in check. But we saw in that interview that he couldn't. So yeah, like I said, I don't know that he supports Biden. I have no sense of that. I do know he wants Trump to lose, and the only way for that to really happen is for Biden to win. So he might not vote Biden. He might do like me. He might vote for Lady Monkey. But he's not voting for Trump, and he doesn't want you to either. Maddow needs to be the moderator for the next debate. I wouldn't. I saw an interesting idea. I wouldn't mind seeing a debate where Maddow questions Trump and Hannity questions Biden. I think that would be great. Each of them gets to respond, of course. But all the Trumps that where Biden answers first come from Hannity. All of the ones where Trump answers first come from Maddow. I'd watch that. Hell yeah. I mean, it'd be weird seeing the before and after pictures of Sean sitting there, but I'd watch that. At least put your biases on the fucking table. The Supreme Court is a big thing, and they're pushing me to vote Trump, guys. I don't want to vote for Trump, and right now I'm not going to. But if I get any more sense that the shithead's packing the court, I might, because the court is about how I want it right now. It's conservative. I feel comfortable that they're not going to take away my free speech, my guns, my religion. Nothing that's in the fucking Bill of Rights will be touched. And I'm okay with that. They start packing the court specifically to get horrific liberal judges up there just so they can get back a majority. I'm going to have problems with that. So you're not going to vote. I didn't say I wasn't going to vote. I vote every year. I didn't vote for Hillary or Trump. I didn't vote for Romney, McCain, or Obama. But I voted every year. You should vote because that's what's going to happen, Monk. Sinatra, I'm telling you, man, I'm getting there. And it's not going to be a vote for Trump. It won't be. It'll be a vote against Biden. You voted for Lady Monkey every time. No. The first couple of times I did that, I voted for my best friend. That would be the first Obama run. The first Obama run, I voted for my best friend. The second Obama run for him again, and then my wife last time. And one of my friends is vice president because she thought it was funny. I'm like, I'll vote for you for vice president. She, really? I'm like, sure, why not? I don't trust none of these pricks, and I don't think any of them is going to be that bad. They're trying to pack the court, Monkey, whether it's this term or next. And I get you there. I do. And that's why I definitely will not be voting Democrat for the Senate. I don't think we have a Senate election this year, do we? We just had our two. I can't remember. I don't think we have one this time or not. Anyway, these nuts is my write-in. I support write-in voting. I support people who don't vote for major party candidates. I'm having trouble though because I don't believe in Trump, and that's why I'm not just like, yes, I'll vote for him, because I don't believe in the man. Sorry. He's fine, I guess, but I like to vote for things I'm voting for. I don't like voting against something. You know what I mean? I want my vote to be for something I believe in. And yeah, it's a idealistic notion, but I'm okay with it. Did you see that Project Veritas is going to expose candidate Mark Kelly next? I saw that supposedly they were in his neck of the woods. That some of them had been spotted there, but I don't know what they're up to there. Unless Trump wins, or even if Trump wins, unless something is done, he'll still be in the same position 4 years from now. Trump is only part of it. This all started with Harry Reid, man. The Supreme Court thing all started with Harry Reid. The Senate has a power problem. The Senate. Oh, yeah, John James is running. That's right. I've seen his commercials. And I've seen the commercials against him, too. I saw one the other day that John James wants to kill old people or some stupid shit like that. Yeah. John James, a black Republican. They don't exist, guys. Anyway, and Gary Peters, he's that fat dude, right? With a beard. You don't see him on the commercials much anymore. Biden took a nosedive when he announced Kamala. If he kicks her off, he has a chance. I think he still has a chance right now. I think the problem for Trump right now is enthusiasm, which he's getting back since he's restarted his rallies. I think the Trump team realized they need those because Trump is his best salesman. He really is. We've talked about it many times. Trump is an excellent showman. You put him up on that stage, you let him work that crowd, and they leave ready to vote for him. And he needs that enthusiasm. As for Biden, oh, man, the less they show of him, the better. The less they show of him, the better. Anyway. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting election. But to what we were talking about just a second ago, the Senate has an issue with power, and it started with Harry Reid. Harry Reid did not like how things were running because he didn't have total control. He couldn't stop the Republicans. The Republicans were blocking federal and appellate court judges that Obama had nominated. And Harry Reid is like, fine, I'm going to take away your ability to block them. We're going to make it so that it only takes 51 votes for closure. Not closure, cloture. How do you say that word? I know how to spell it. I just don't know how to say it. It's closure. Fuck, I can't say it. I don't care. It's a weird word used in law that nobody else ever talks about. Frank, thank you. I don't believe in Trump either, but am planning on voting against Biden because of my feelings about the first and second, as well as the ACA and a few other things. I'll also be voting for a black woman Republican for Congress. Is it still racist voting for Trump? Well, I suppose people would tell you it's probably like saying you have a black friend. So probably. But anyway, he changed it. So basically it ends the filibuster without getting rid of the filibuster, because you can end argument with just a 51 vote. And he did that for the federal and the appellate bench courts. And he thought, but we're not doing it for the Supreme Court, guys, because we're not dicks. Well, he only didn't do it for the Supreme Court because there wasn't a Supreme Court nominee up. And Mitch McConnell told him at the time, don't do it. You do this to us, we're going to do it back. We're going to do it back, and we're going to do it with the Supreme Court. And so, sure enough, it's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. The Republicans take back over, and they're like, fuck it, we're doing it with Supreme Court too. And the Democrats, oh, how dare you? Cloture. That's how you say it. Cloture. I appreciate it. I'll never remember it, but I appreciate you trying. And the Democrat, even today, they're, I can't believe the Republicans changed all that. Well, they did, but they did it in response to what you did. And then the Republicans flex their muscles with Merrick Garland. Like, you need our consent. You can nominate whoever the fuck you want, but you need our consent to put him on the bench. And we're not giving it until after this election is over. So we go without a Supreme Court justice from, February of 2016 until, somebody help me, was it May? No, because it was only 11 months, wasn't it? So was it in January? I forget. It was like 11 months we went without a Supreme Court justice because they were like, yeah, we don't have to do this shit. You did this, shitheads. You made it so that we were powerful enough to do that, and that we would be dickish enough to do this. And that's all it was. It was a dick waving contest. And like, we got the power. You don't. And now they have the power again. And this is what caused the whole problem in the first place. The Democrats in the Senate feel rightfully neutered because they are, because they lost. And elections do have consequences. And when you lose, Democrats, because you're up there telling people what horrible commies you are, and they're going, yeah, I don't want fucking horrible commie in there. You don't get to make the rules anymore. You don't get to pick the justices. You don't get to sign the treaties. Well, approve the treaties signed by the president. You don't get to do that You get to sit back and hope they throw you a bone. And realizing how impotent they are, the Democrats' newest thing is we're going to pack the court. Because all the Democrats in the Senate want is that power. Mind you, other than changing it so that the Supreme Court rules match the ones for federal and appellate court judges, the Republicans didn't change anything to make it easier for them to lead. They didn't change anything else. They just matched that as they told Harry they would do if this dumbass pulled the nuke. They did exactly what they told him. And otherwise, they've done it how it's always fucking done. And the fucking Democrats, pussy-ass little children that they are, like, oh, well, we got to go take more power. It does require a change of law to change the number of justices on the court. It's really easy to do. It's not a constitutional thing. The Constitution sets no limits. I forget the name of the law, but there's a law that does limit the number of people on the court right now to 9. It's been 9 and 7 and 9 again. And it's been at 9 for a long time. I think since FDR? I forget when, because there was a time when it was 7 and they got bumped up to 9 and they got bumped down to 7 again and then bumped back up to 9. So they can, when they come in, if they have the Democratic House, Democratic Senate, and the Democratic President, change that easily. Because it doesn't take a major vote to do it. And then it's done. Oh, we're going to make it 11. We'll make it 11. That'll give us, let's see. Oh, crap. No, that's too close. They're going to have to make it 13 to guarantee a liberal court. So we'll see what happens there. They'd have to have 13 to make it a liberal court. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it something they want to do? Yes. Is it something they would do? I do not put it past them for a moment because they are power-hungry shitheads. They can't just sit back and play by the rules. And you know what? Here's the thing, Democrats. If you want to win and you want to be the ones who help get to nominate justices and stuff, stop running on stupid fucking platforms. I know that's really hard. So let me help you out here. Stop running on the Green New Deal. A bullshit, nonsense piece of crap made up by a junior congresswoman and the people in her office. It was so bad when it was first published, they had to take it down and claim they never actually said it. That's how bad that was. It got posted to her website and she had to take it down. Oh, no, that was just a draft. No, first they said that was never there. And then people were like, yeah, we archived that shit. It's like, well, that was one that wasn't supposed to go live. You mean the person that you gave it to put it on your website, put it up before you gave it to them? What? It's so bad, it would literally bankrupt us in like 3 years. We don't have the money for it. And it's going to guarantee a job to you, even if you don't, or guarantee you money, even if you don't want to do a job. And it's going to get rid of the cows. Stop running on unrestricted abortion. Most people don't support that. Even people who do support abortion are like, not third trimester. And certainly not third trimester because the mom is having mental issues right up to the time of birth. You guys remember that? Do you guys remember that? This is why the Democrats pushed so far away from abortion. They pushed abortion down because they had a couple of bad looks right in a row. You had Governor Northam talking about if a baby was born alive when it was supposed to be aborted, they would set it to the side and the doctor and mother would discuss what to do. But that's not They weren't going to discuss whether or not to kill the baby. No. The abortion doctor and the mom were going to, I don't know, discuss new drapes. That's not, he didn't say that. Yes, he did. That's what he was talking about. Set the baby aside, the living, breathing baby aside, and decide what to do. Yeah. And then you had that bitch from the Virginia Assembly who was up there pushing an abortion plan that allowed abortion up to the time of birth for things including the mental health of the mother. Not the life of the mother, the mental health of the mother. A bill so bad that the other woman that was up there with her had to come out and go, yeah, I didn't realize that's what she was saying. Like, bitch, you read the bill. You were standing up there with her. You knew what the fuck it said. You just didn't know you were going to get pushback. You didn't know somebody was going to record that and put it online. Stop promoting that shit that's going on in California right now, where they just made it legal for judges not to put somebody on the sex offender registry if they're, say, 24 banging a 14-year-old. They did it under the notion of gay equality because that was already the law for straight people. So instead of fixing the law for straight people, where it allows a 24-year-old to have sex with a 14-year-old without going on the sex registry, they're like, well, we should make that the same for gays. Where they took the law that said giving somebody AIDS, knowingly giving somebody AIDS, giving it to them without telling them, knowing you have it and could spread it, no longer a felony, just a misdemeanor, just a slap, get a little fine. Giving somebody a death sentence, just a fine. Stop embracing that shit. You want to win? Stop embracing the insanity. It's not that hard. I mean, it is for them because they're insane. They're a bunch of little fucking crying children who don't have a brain between them. But, you know, for normal people, stop embracing the insanity. Stop telling me I can be fired because I say he when that person now wants to be called a she or a Z or a G or whatever the fuck they want to be called today. Stop telling me men are just born bad. Stop telling me women are perpetually powerful and the ultimate victim. Stop pushing millionaire athletes in my face telling me how hard it is for black people to get ahead in life. Insisting that I, as a poor white guy, have it better than they do. Because that's fucking retarded. Stop selling your race baiting crap. You have real racism to deal with, and it does exist. Let's go after it. I'm with Ben Shapiro on that. Show me where the racism is. We will march hand in hand and stop that shit. But don't point to nonsense. Stop telling me that blacks dying at a lower rate than whites is blacks dying at a higher rate than whites. I can do math. I can't spell worth of shit, and I have trouble saying words sometimes, but I can do math. You want to win? Stop embracing the insanity. Now, for the record, I hope you keep losing because you're insane. And I really don't want you in charge because, well, you're fucking insane. You guys push a lot of stupid shit. Like Joe Biden I'm gonna sign us back up to the Paris Climate Accord. You mean that thing that just punishes us, makes us pay a whole bunch of money to countries who are actually doing the polluting right now? Got into an argument with some people. Kamala Harris tweeted out, I know, me getting into an argument. Kamala Harris tweeted out about the fires, the historic fires in California, Oregon, and Washington. And I merely pointed out it's weird how the fires aren't in Canada and asked if the secret to global warming is just a passport. And a whole bunch of her supporters, they thought I was dumb. How come people who don't read always say the borders or the fire stop at the border? I'm like, oh, I don't read, do I? Did you guys know? Did you guys know in Canada this year, their fires are 40% below normal? Normal. 40% below the average for the last 10 years. Somebody told me, well, that's just El Nino. All right, let's say it is. Let's say it is. El Nino doesn't follow fucking borders. It doesn't follow borders. You know who else isn't having historic fires right now? Mexico. So if you're going to say, well, the El Nino pattern right now is putting extra moisture into the air up in Canada and helping drive down fires, well, it's not in fucking Mexico. It doesn't split like a goddamn Y. These are facts. Oh, but you just can't read. I'm like, motherfucker, I read all the time. I read all the fucking time. I just don't buy into your bullshit just because you're saying it. But it was amazing how many people said that same thing. Oh, you just don't read. And I'd link the shit to them. There's the Canadian website right there telling you 60% of the average. There's Mexico. Hardly any fires at all. But somehow, you know where else there's not a lot of fires? Raging into Arizona and New Mexico. It's California, Oregon, and Washington. And it started to move into Idaho. It's weird how it stops at borders. I love how they insult you instead of proving you wrong. Well, somebody yesterday told me that I sound like a ranting monkey and probably look like one too. And it was 2 days ago. Somebody said, your name is so fitting. And people say this. I love when people say that. Your name is fitting. And they say it as an insult. I'm like, yeah, I picked it, dumbass. I know myself well enough. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's not an insult, dummy. Your name is stupid. How you like that? It is amazing to me how many people tell me that I need to go read and don't have any facts of their own. One lady yesterday answered that whole fire thing with Donald Trump says it just needs better forest management. I'm like, funny you should bring that up. And I linked her the article from the California Commission on Wildfires that said the same fucking thing. The same fucking thing. Oh, it's just Donald Trump. No, it's not. It's fucking science. How come you guys don't like the science when it's not convenient to you? You will wrap your whole fucking world around theoretical global warming models that have never been right once, not fucking once. Those are absolute science because there's a consensus. But real science, biology, nah. Forest management, shit we've been doing for thousands of years. Nah, man, that's just some made up shit Donald Trump came up with. Sometimes I think Satsu's right that the world began in 2016 and everything before that is just my fucking imagination. Saw people get mad at the notion again yesterday. I know what I responded to that quote or to that post. Let me see if I can find it. Who's messaging me? Oh, there we go. Hang on. I was very busy yesterday, so I'm not sure if I can find this, but there's one I want to read to you guys because the exchange was just incredible. And I'll pull it up on the screen if I do find it so you guys can see it too. God, what do you mean something went wrong? Try again. I know there was more. Fuck, who sent that out? Was it Splexy? No, not that one. This one. Oh, there it is. Yes. Haha. I love when I remember who actually sent something, so it's easier to find. Gamer Valine, thank you. We have wildfires in Arizona right now. They just aren't from California. Ours are too far southeast. Are they historic fires? Because once again, like with the Canada thing, I didn't say there were no fires. It's the historic fires. Anyway, so this person says, a bit of advice, Captain. Emma is a developmental biologist, an expert in this area who gave advice to the recent World Rugby inquiry into trans women in women's rugby. And this person wrote back, so she's a bigot that should never have been given a medical license with power to oppress people she obviously knows nothing about. Cool. They're talking about somebody who they've decided is transphobic because they believe in biology and is an actual developmental biologist. And they're oppressing people and they're a bigot who shouldn't have been given a medical license. I read this. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Are you? There's times I read these guys and my brain just go, wait, how did we get here? How did we get here? This is a developmental biologist. This is the person you're supposed to be listening to the science, aren't you? Oh, but we don't have a consensus anymore on biology because a whole lot of doctors and scientists would like to keep their jobs. And that should scare the ever-loving fuck out of you. That's what's being done with our real science right now, guys. Is that scientists are being bullied into saying incredibly stupid shit. Like, yeah, well, biology, we're not real sure about biology right now. We've only been studying it for decades, for centuries. Since we first discovered we could cut people open and look inside. Yeah, Ryan, exactly. Brain.exe has encountered an error, abort, retry, fail. Yes. I read that and I'm like, how can you say something like that out loud and not be joking? If that was an ironic post, fine. Then I would laugh at it because, yeah, it sounds like something somebody would say. Because it is. It's something somebody would say. It's something somebody did say. They're just a bigot who shouldn't have been given a medical degree because they don't know what they're talking about. Says the rando on Twitter about the fucking developmental biologist. And I'm not allowed to question a mechanical engineer if he says he believes in global warming. Well, he has a science degree. Yeah, he's a fucking moron when it comes to this, though. It'd be different. Notice they didn't actually point out, okay, this is where they got anything wrong. No. They're just a bigot. And that's where it comes to. If I'm having a scientific argument with somebody, I love when they bring, are you a scientist? No, I'm not. But let's talk about the science. Because that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the science. I'm not interested in you. I don't give a fuck about you if I'm arguing with you most of the time. I don't even know you. Why the fuck would I care? I'm interested in the science. Let's argue the science. We can both, as laymen, argue the science. Oh, no, only scientists can talk about science, unless it's biology. And then the blue-haired fat bitch from down the street, she knows far more than anybody who ever went to school for it. Engineering isn't a science degree. Well, it's in STEM, so it's considered part of the fields. It's considered above me, sweetheart. I'm not allowed to have opinions if somebody with a degree has one. I'm not ashamed of my education. I dropped out of high school, you guys. I have a GED. Yes, I do. And I will put my fucking knowledge up against almost anybody. because I don't go into things blind and stupid, and neither should you. Because I'm going to tell you, some of you guys do it too. Some of you guys run in head first without going and looking. Make sure you look. Make sure. This is why I'm so confident to jump into Kamala Harris saying some stupid shit about historic wildfires. The historic wildfires caused by climate change are going to keep getting worse. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. If climate change was causing the historic wildfires along the east or along the west coast, they would be in fucking, at the very least, in fucking Mexico as well. At the very least. And probably in Canada. Where again, down 40% for the year. Now, I need to qualify that. As of September 9th, it was down. I couldn't find closer information. But that's as of September 9th. Go out and look. There's never been a better time to be educated than right now. You don't have to go to college, guys. You can. I only recommend it if you have a career field in mind. But you don't have to go to college. Almost everything you want to know is at your fingertips. Some of it may require a little bit more money, but the vast majority of anything you want to know at your fingertips. Go look. Go get smart. Go get smart. The Colorado protects Mexico, but Mexico can't catch on fire because of the Colorado. They've had wildfires before. They've had historic wildfires before. Believe me, I've looked this shit up. Mexico's having so few fires, Mexican firefighters are coming up to help fight the fires in California. Keep in mind your historic president is Fort McMurray. Our historic president is Fort McMurray. I don't know who that is, but I'll take your word for it. September 9th of what year? This year. Mexico can't catch on fire because that dumpster's already on fire. Be nice. And thank you for the donation, Pink Hollow. Look, Mexico can catch on fire, and it hasn't because the historic. And guys, again, I'm not saying global warming's not happening. Global warming's not happening. I'm not saying climate change isn't happening. The climate changes all the fucking time. We, if you believe science, started as a molten ball of rock. And from there, we're here. We know about 12,000 years ago, the Ice Age was coming to an end. We also know that the ending of the Ice Age has been accelerated not just in the 20th century and the 21st century, but over the last 12,000 years, based on if you go by the other scientific, precedent. Well, that said president. I read it proper. Keep in mind, our historic precedent is Fort McMurray. I didn't autocorrect you. They did it. I read a lot of shit wrong, but that says president. I can still see it. Now you made me forget what I was talking about. How dare you, sir? Oh, God. Guys, I fucking hurt today. Anybody want to trade spines just for a day? Just one day. I just want to remember what it was like. I was talking about education. Go out there and read. There's plenty of stuff you can read and cross-check stuff. Don't just believe the first thing you read. I can't tell you how many people send me something that seems to justify things I would believe in, And on first glance, I'm like, that's not true. And I have to go look it up, and 9 times out of 10, it's not true. And it's just because clickbait headlines will often lie to you. Make sure at the very least you're reading the whole story of whatever it is you're reading. Because there's a lot of it that's just garbage out there. A lot of just garbage. But there's a lot of good stuff too. It's a lot of interesting stuff. And you don't have to become an expert on anything, but if you're going to talk about something, make sure you know. Make sure you know so that you're not making a fool of yourself. And it's okay if you don't know to just say, I don't know. I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer. Too many people don't understand that. However, for me, it's a lot of fun on Twitter because holy shit. That idiot I was arguing with yesterday, oh my God. That argument started out because of my Joe Biden video. Yes, guys, I made a video. It was only 2 minutes long, but it's okay. You can watch it. Made a video about Joe Biden not answering the question. This idiot came back with, this just shows you don't understand the Constitution. Like, bitch, people come to me with their constitutional questions. That's how much I talk about it and discuss it and read about it. But no, I just didn't understand the Constitution because I expected Joe Biden to answer that question. Because you see, guys, the Senate would have to approve any new justices. Like, I didn't say they didn't. I didn't. The fuck are you talking about, dumbass? And this is the UFO guy who just hates me. And this is a lesson for you guys. I want to give you this because it is a very good lesson about political debate or any kind of debate, really. Any kind of interaction, really. Don't go into it with hate. Hate will make you stupid. Hate will make you stupid and it'll make you miss some easy things. Some very easy things. For instance, me not saying that Joe could just do it on his own. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with whether or not Joe would do it if he had the chance. But this idiot, he just hates me so much, it doesn't matter what I say. This is how I became a racist Bible thumper yesterday. He just hates me. And it's okay that he hates me, but don't get into arguments with people you hate. One, you shouldn't hate anybody that much. Yeah, nuts, I made a video. You didn't see it, or are you just giving me shit? Not that you have to watch it. I just swear you watched it. I swear, didn't you retweet it or something? Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Anyway, don't go into it with hate. I see this so many times in arguments from people on both sides where you can tell that it's just anger. It's just anger. And they don't bother actually paying attention to what's being said or to the facts at hand. It's just anger. And you see this a lot with the TDS folks. That is Trump derangement syndrome, folks. There's just so much hate there that facts and reality have no business in their lives at all. Like they knocked on the door, saw who it was, and went, nah, we're gonna go to the next house. Logic doesn't belong here. The cooler head always prevails. Maybe not always, but 99.9% of the time, yes. Anger feels good. It feels so good. But it's not productive when you're arguing with somebody. It's really not. Because it ends up usually with you making a fool out of yourself. Or the other person making a fool out of you. And I have a few of those. I have a few of those people who they just hate. And it's probably why I still get along with Sophane even when most don't. Even with our interactions where I think he's wrong and obviously wrong and stuff like that. There's no animosity there. There's no hateful stuff going on. It's not like when Mundane Matt, well, you're a sexist and a racist sometimes. Like, bitch, what? Okay. All right. Fine. I just realized there is no reason to debate you. I mean, I can do it just to be for funds, but when hate becomes the motivating factor, all too often, people make giant mistakes, giant glaring mistakes. Like yesterday, that idiot kept trying to get out of the argument. I'm just like, no, we're sticking here, right here. This is what you said. Show it or shut up. And he brought up all kind. Well, Donald Trump did this and Donald Trump did that. I'm like, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Well, it shows it. No. It's had nothing to do with what we're talking about. You said I don't know the Constitution because I didn't say that the Supreme Court has to be confirmed by the Senate. Where did I suggest that was even an issue that we were talking about? But he made such a fool of himself and had done so that he couldn't just shut up about it because he kept trying to save face. Lancelot, thank you. We need to help San Andreas out and break California off. Put all the crazy libs on it and watch the fireworks. You know, we read a story last night. Thank you for the donation. We read a story last night about this chick moving into a village in England. I forgot the name of it. Hertfordshire, some shit like that. And her problem was that her dad is into the QAnon stuff. One of the QAnon things that they said is that universities are being overrun with Marxists. That's supposedly a conspiracy theory. That's a conspiracy theory. That Hertfordshire, whatever it was, some English town that ends in shire for no goddamn reason. Midnight Exile, thank you. Fane is dishonest and elitist and has the IQ of a bukkake starlet. And that's fair for you to think so if you want to. He's still a friend of mine, and my point about him stands. But the idea that Marxists have infiltrated universities being called a conspiracy theory, I was like, what? That's just fact. I mean, we've gotten to the point where that's just a fact. You have kids coming out of colleges who have studied Marx and not necessarily in a literature class or a history class. The only two places that, okay, maybe a politics class. But I mean, they're coming out of like, yeah, in my English class today, when we were discussing verbs, she brought up Karl Marx. In math, we learned about Marxian math. I mean, it's everywhere. And they're proud of it. They're proud of it. But it's a conspiracy. They like to bring up that study that showed more liberals were kicked out of college for their liberal college professors got in trouble for their views and what they did than conservatives did. But then you go and look at it and it's things like, well, yeah, they were trying to set somebody's car on fire. Or they were part of a protest where they hit somebody in the head with a bike lock, you know? And when you look at it for just their ideology, yeah, stop it. It's undeniable that Marxism has infiltrated not just our colleges, but it's infiltrated our government at this point. They're happy about it. I'm a democratic socialist. I wish I could make a donkey sound because I would have made it right then. I used to have a friend who could make a perfect donkey sound. I need to track him down, have him record that for me so I can put it on a soundboard. But I'm a democratic socialist. Or I'm a democratic socialist. I'm not just a socialist. I'm a democratic one. Yeah, because so many socialist countries have actually been democratic. Kim Jong-un, he wins the elections. They have the elections there. It's silly to me that they still try to pretend it doesn't exist, that it doesn't happen. It's only on college campuses, monkey. Wait, no, it's not on college campuses. Where the fuck is it? We're supposed to be saying, oh, yeah, it doesn't exist. This shit is everywhere. And it needs to stop. We need to put an end to it. Communism is bad. Hashtag communism is bad. Hashtag socialism is just limp communism. And if you actually know Marx, you know that socialism is the stepping stone to communism. It's not the end goal. It's the starting point. You fucking idiots. Marx said that a switch straight from capitalism to communism would be too hard for the economies to take. So you have to have that middle ground. That's what socialism is. It's not communism. Shut the fuck up. Fucking hate commies. I hate them because they're stupid, not because they're commies. I mean, commies is bad enough, but they're so stupid. It's everywhere. Now, it's a conspiracy that they're in our colleges indoctrinating our kids. Really? Where are they all finding out about? It's amazing how many of them say, I went to college and found out about Marx. They must have got that shit on the street corner at the college, right? Some guy was like, hey, you wanna buy the manifesto? I'm like, oh, I don't think I should. Like a black market communist manifesto market out there on college campuses. That shit is sold and studied and taught. Not just studied, taught. And there's a difference. You can study it and actually look at it and think about what it means. And then there's teaching it. It's like, this is what it is, and it's good. It's good. That's what's going on out there. It's what's going on. And they're pretending it's not. And they want me to pretend it's not. The idea that it's a conspiracy is out there to keep people from noticing that it is fucking real. And that's become the thing with a lot of stuff. Just label it a conspiracy. That's just a conspiracy. And then anybody who says it is obviously just insane because they believe it. Our college campuses are indoctrination centers these days in many, many ways. And if you don't believe it, just look at the stuff that's being taught. That not just being taught, but the stuff that you have to take. Got to take a studies course. A studies course. These things are filled with communist bullshit. That is just a conspiracy, monkey. No, it's not. Stupid. God, I'm tired of stupid people. I hate them. Oh, God. It's an hour and 40 minutes off of two things pissing me off at the beginning of my day. I might need to calm down some. But this is how I keep my blood pressure down, you guys. I just talk about shit. I used to do this with my best friend. We'd have these conversations literally every night after work. And often during work because I'd fuck off because I didn't care. My job was stupid and most of the time it was automated anyway. But yeah, we would sometimes spend half an hour, one time 2 hours. And what was the one time? It was like 3 or 4 hours. Me and my friend, we just stood there in the parking lot after work talking politics. And that's the day that I told you guys about. I came home and I walk in, and I flip on the light, and Lady Monkey had been standing there in the dark with her arms crossed. Where have you been? It's like, I was talking with him. Call him right now. He'll tell you. And she was never awake. Never awake when I got home. That one time she woke the fuck up. Like, God damn it. Like, baby, I didn't go cheating on you stinking of oil. Just come smell me. You can smell any part of me you want. I like when women folk do that. They get mad at you, so they like hide in a dark corner waiting for your ass. Oh, man. What the hell? My chat has frozen. YouTube told me yesterday that was fixed. Huh. Tired of stupid people, man. I'm 42 and I've been tired for years and probably will be for many years to go. I'm 45 and I've been tired of them for, probably my whole adult life, but they don't seem to be going anywhere. Cheggy Logic says it is fixed. Really? Somebody should tell that to my chat. Oh, what are we talking about Shu for? I saw Shu. Prospero. If I made that joke, you'd be mad at me right now. She says, wait until you're my age. She's a little bit older than me. She's like 5 years older than me. I saw, what was the one? Oh, it was the Tulsi Gabbard one. Tulsi Gabbard had put out the tweet about ending ballot harvesting. And in it, she mentioned the Project Bloodwing. God damn it. I just read Bloodwing in chats because all you need said, don't make me get Bloodwing. The Project Veritas videos. I'm going to start that all over because I just lost it. Okay. Tulsi Gabbard makes this tweet where she mentions the Project Veritas videos and how it's just further proof that we need to get behind the federal ban of ballot harvesting. For those of you who don't know what ballot harvesting is, this is when it's usually with old people. They go Project Bloodwing. Stop it. They usually go, it's mostly old people. They'll go pick up their ballots for them and turn them in. That's what it's supposed to be. What actually happens, well, nobody knows because it's not like they're videotaping themselves doing this. But excuse me. There's the ability in that case for people to buy votes. I'll give you $20 if I can fill that out for you or tell you how to fill it out. There's a chance of, oh, you voted for Trump. All right, we'll take care of that for you. You throw it in the trash. Not saying this has happened. I'm saying it has the possibility. And there's people who think that's okay. It's illegal in several states, but it's legal in a lot more. And Tulsi Gabbard wants a federal ban on it. And she said so. And again, she mentions the Project Veritas thing. And Vosh came out, oh my God, when you accidentally, what did he say? Accidentally give credibility to Project Veritas or something stupid like that. And I saw a Shu response to it where like, I can't believe I still support this woman or something like that. And I was just like, good God, she didn't say anything wrong there. Even if you don't like Project Veritas, fine. Take that out of the equation. Ballot harvesting is wrong. It allows for corruption. And whether you believe it happens or not, why don't we take that off the table? Just no, you can't do that. Period. Why are so many people so open to the possibility of fraud? This should be one we all look at and go, yeah, that's a bad fucking idea. It's a bad fucking idea. And especially for you fucking liberals out there, because most old people tend to vote Republican. You'd think they'd be chomping at the bit for this if they thought it was legal, if they thought everything happening was on the up and up. Because that would just take Republicans out of the field. Yeah. But yeah, I can't believe I support her. There's nothing wrong with her if you still supported her with her saying that. She is a lefty. Whether you guys like it or not, she's damn near a commie. But that doesn't mean everything she said is stupid. And in this case, she happens to be right. That should be banned federally. And I do not understand why anybody would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Except for Vosh, who's a fucking retard who only reads things off of Wikipedia as he's arguing. Like, oh, I think I know what this says. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. According to what I'm reading right now. Oh, Jesus, fuck. Do you know anything? Do you have anything in your brain? I have a fucking memory problem because of my drugs, and I can remember shit better than that. Oh, but he's the hero they needed. Fat man. Man bun. Yeah. I wonder if those two are going to hook up. Just wondering. Is he going to dump the fat chick? I'm sorry, the frumpy chick. Is frumpy better than fat? Is that okay to say? Are you allowed to call people frumpy? I don't know if that's body shaming or not. I need somebody to help me out on that one. What can you say? Why does Vosh have the following he does? For the same reason I've been telling people for years. You want a big channel? There's two ways to get a really good channel. A really big channel really fast. One way is to be somebody who isn't normally what you consider conservative. So black, gay, trans, or even female, pretty female especially, and go out there and say something conservative. That's one way. And we've seen that time and time again. Why in the hell does Caitlyn Bennett have a following? That ramen-haired freak is a moron. But if you get that any of those combinations together, especially pretty black female, whew, dude, you're in like Flynn. And not Michael Errol. I'm not trying to send y'all to prison. But the other way is to be a lefty who shows even the slightest bit of testosterone. Because they are so desperate for testosterone on that side that any amount of it will do. That's why they like men who beat women. Like, that's manly. They really do. The lefties love men who beat women. They're pretty fond of sexual assaulters over there too. And before me, show me proof. All right, a bunch of them are voting for Joe Biden, thinking he sexually assaulted a woman. There you go. I can bring up articles if you want me to. I believe Joe Biden sexually assaulted Tara Reid, but I'm voting for him anyway. Because we just have to get rid of Donald Trump and we can re-educate Joe. We actually fucking read that. We can re-educate Joe. We can take a 77-year-old man or however old the fuck he is and teach him that fingering a woman against her will back in the 90s is wrong. That's their argument. Oh my God. Now you show any little bit of testosterone and they run to it because they don't see it very often. Not on their side. And they've been taught to hate it on the other side. Oh my God, he can open a jar of pickles. He must be horrible. He must hate black people. He lifted that milk with one hand. Oh my God, he hates women. It is amazing though. It is amazing how many women on the left end up with guys who abuse the shit out of them. And I chalk it up to them mistaking that kind of behavior for manliness because, well, they don't know what men are. Just saying. It's only a guess. I'm not a clinical psychologist, but I mean, it's the best I've got. If you got a better reason, I'm willing to hear it. Wait, there are people so weak that they can't lift milk with one hand. I want to point you to the guy who ran up behind a police officer, hit the police officer in the head with a baseball bat. And the guy who swung the bat is the one who fell down. Say that again. The guy who swung the bat hitting another man in the head is the one that fell down. The cop didn't even glance. Yeah. They manly men over on the left. They manly men over there. Oh, man. Don't worry, ladies. Don't worry. They have their good qualities too. When you have your period, they'll have theirs with you. They'll sympathize. The fuck happened to those people? Toxic masculinity is wrong. I'm going to go rape this girl. Isn't that great? They'll say that in public. I think toxic masculinity is a horrible thing. And then 3 days later, they're in the news because they raped somebody. Like, I guess they knew toxic masculinity was wrong because, well, they're a great example of it. How many of those shitheels have been busted with this? Almost everybody in Hollywood that was accused was a fucking liberal. You didn't see Kelsey Grammer's name come up in the hashtag Me Too bullshit. It's those lefties, man. They love abusing women, and women love being abused by them, apparently. Just saying. I'm going to get myself in so much trouble with this one. Strong women like strong men. All women like strong men, but strong women will be with strong men. Weak women, well, they run the gamut. Some of them get lucky, and a lot of them are attracted to the wrong things, the real wrong things. They're attracted to some moron who throws a firebomb at a cop, and then they're shocked when he beats their ass. So Nikki says, laugh my ass off. That's how they outed all the conservatives in Hollywood, right? Like, we know if you didn't get Me Too'd, you probably voted for Trump. That is the saddest thing to me. These people, even if you believe, okay, let's put it all on the table. Trump has been accused several times of sexual misconduct, up to and including outright rape. Now, I don't find those accusations to be very credible, but let's throw them on the table. Let's say you believe every one of them. And then you have Joe Biden, who you support. And then you find out he's been accused of something too, and you believe him. And instead of going, I'm not going to vote for either of them, your answer is, well, I'm going to vote for the one who only did it once that we know of. I don't understand that. I really don't. You're literally saying, well, one sexual assault is okay. Maybe that's how you keep ending up in bad relationships. Just saying, maybe you're making really bad choices with your life. I wonder how many of the women who said that have been in abusive relationships. Do you think it's all of them? I'm betting it's all of them. I bet they get into them again tomorrow. Because they mistake that toxic masculinity for masculinity. It's weird. It's weird. Look, one sexual assault is okay. What if Bernie Sanders is accused of a sexual assault? Nobody believe it. Have you seen him? Guy looks like a fucking Muppet, and he always has. So what? Watchmen excused, you raped my mom only once. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. Or, I mean, on daytime soap operas, many of those relationships, and this is going back for some of you, but many of the most popular relationships back on daytime TV started with a sexual assault or an outright rape. And those two end up in love. Like, shouldn't he be in prison? But I love him now. Do you think in those situations when they have sex, they role play rape? I have bad thoughts, guys. I think a lot of women have a bad understanding of what a man should be, and a lot of men don't know either. I think we've ruined men in this country. Not all. Hashtag not all. I think that's why Peterson's book was so popular, because I think men are desperate for a role model or somebody to tell them what to do. And part of being a man is figuring it out on your own. But you can have advice. But Peterson's book was really, really popular, and a lot of people really went to it, and took it to heart. And it's just some basic rules of how to live your life as a decent person, really. Oh, excuse me. Ninja Boy says, men raised by women. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. I do have an issue with that. Because most of my childhood, up until I was 14 years old, I was raised by my mom. My dad was there sometimes, but most of the time he was out to sea. The people in the Navy go out to sea a lot. You have not just your 6-month cruises, which these days, they go even up to 8 or 10 months. But when my dad was in, it was 6 years or 6 months. But you'd also have 3-month tours, 2-week cruises. They were out to sea all the fucking time. So we were mostly raised by mom. But mom raised us to be boys. She raised us to be men. She taught us how to act. And I think throughout history, women have been the ones who mostly raised the children anyway. Going all the way back to our hunter-gatherer days. I mean, the men weren't out there teaching the boy. The women took care of him as they grew up until they were old enough to go out and learn. The problem is, we don't have good male role models anymore. Not very many. When Jordan Peterson, and nothing against Jordan, but when he's out there teaching you to be a man, I mean, he's not some hulking figure. He's not some super masculine guy. He's just a dude. That's just basic being a man 101. It's the shit your mama should have taught you when you were 5. But we lost it, man. We've lost it. Ness says, thank you for saying that. No, it's true. It's true. The best men were mostly raised by women. Hashtag, again, not all. And Ninja Boy says, love that dude, taught me a lot. If you're talking about Jordan, I don't hate Jordan. I like Jordan Peterson. I feel sorry for him with what he's going through. And I hope he recovers. And I think the people who celebrated what happened to him are shitbags who should burn in a hell I don't even believe in. That said, it is weird to me that this pencil neck geek is the one men are turning to learn how to be a man. Just because he's giving you basic instructions on how to fucking do it. Literally shit your mama should have taught you. Oh, don't say anything about the women. No, I'm not. There's a lot of women who raise great boys. I grew up as a Navy brat. All of us saw our dads like a month a year, if you put it all together. Because even when he was home, he was working. He was up before we were, and he got home at like 6 because of fucking traffic. So maybe you get to see him for a couple hours a day. Mama raised me. Understatement. Thank you so much. Women just want you to listen, not actually do this stuff. Men are the ones putting these things into law. History always repeats itself. You spelled women with the Y, so I'm assuming you mean those women. I get you, and yeah, men put these things into law. But once again, I'm just disagreeing with the notion right now that women can't raise men. Women can, and women have a lot. Caramon, thank you. Sounds like a Paul Harvey segment with cursing. LOL. Is that what I'm sounding like? God, I used to be able to do Paul Harvey's voice. I haven't heard it in so long. I don't know if I could do it. I think it would come out as Howard Cosell right now. Fuck yeah, I'd have to hear it again. I used to love Paul Harvey. Thank you. I that's actually a compliment. We don't need to go hyper masculine. We don't. But masculine would be okay. There's one chick I follow on Twitter. She posts every so often. It's mostly a shit post just to watch what happens. But she'll post things like, masculinity is okay. It's okay to like masculine men. And people will freak the fuck out. They'll freak out. Like, how dare you suggest men should be men? Not toxic masculinity, not beating women. No. Masculinity is okay. No. Yeah. And we've come to this place in society, and I've talked about this before, where being born male is an original sin. We have a lot of new original sins. We really do. We've kicked God out and decided that we have these other original sins, and it's all based on your skin color and your genitals at birth. Being a man is an original sin, and you have to be fixed. Boys have to be fixed because they're not like girls. And I blame popular psychology for this. Those books that dumb women read, not all women, dumb women read, and they're like, oh, this is how I should raise my boy. When I was a child, my dad yelled at me once, and it was the worst thing ever. So I'm never going to yell at my children. I will let them make all the decisions in life. You have people who do that. My child gets to make all the decisions. He gets to decide for himself. In fact, I'm not even going to call him he anymore until he's old enough to decide whether or not he's a he or not. I'm going to let the child decide. And then when the child decides something that they don't like, we saw this in an article the other day where these people decided to raise their child non-binary. But the little girl really likes pink and she really likes dresses. And they're distraught by it. The parents are distraught by it. Like, I thought you were letting her make her choice. I thought she gets to decide this. No, okay. She can be non-binary, but she has to wear boys' clothes in order to do it. Although non-binary. Average apathetic American, thank you so much. Mom teaches you to be a man, dad is the judge. Oh, you see, that wasn't even true in my house. I would much rather have gotten spanked by dad than mom. Mom was much harsher, man. You did not fuck up on mom's watch. No, sir. No, sir. Dad was a lot more lenient than mom was. But dad, I mean, he took the time and taught us things that we need to know. Like, he let me used to work on the car with him. Not that that matters today, because working on a car today versus back then is just ridiculous. Can't put a computer in a car, for fuck's sake. I used to know how to change shocks and change the oil and the starter and what else could I do? Change the fan belts and align them. I learned how to do that when I was a kid. There's a lot of it that you pick up from dad because he does all because mom never worked on the car. I mean, not to say a woman can't. It's just how it was in my family. I think what dad did was provide the example. You know, I watched him. Dad never told me this is how you be a man. My mom told me that shit. And she said that, you know, you shouldn't tell boys not to cry. My mom told me boys don't cry. Now, she never said that if there was a reason for me to be crying. And it's a difference, and it's something kids do pick up on. If I was seriously hurt and I was crying, my mom never, hey, stop crying, bitch. No. But if I didn't get my way and just started crying, Mom like, boys don't cry, stop that. And then she'd throw in the, do you want me to give you something to cry about line? Like, no. So even that teaches you there's reasons to cry. But like, oh, don't say that to boys. Yeah, how dare you teach boys to be stoic? We don't need any of that in our lives. We need people to break down there. This is what the panic, which, why didn't Trump panic everybody? We deserved that panic. Well, you were panicked any fucking way, so stop pretending you weren't. But yeah, how dare him be stoic? That's a manly trait. It's one of them toxic manly traits. Stoicism is toxically masculine. Did you guys know that? Stoicism is bad. You ever need to lean on somebody? You ever really need to lean on somebody? How'd it be if you really needed somebody that you could depend on and you went to them and they turned into a blubbering, whiny bitch? Just a blubbering, whiny bitch. We need to get back to teaching boys to be boys. And maybe then lefty women would stop getting their asses kicked so much. And on that, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. It's at the 2-hour mark. Oh, Rodline, thank you so much. Let me get this real quick. It's over on the Streamlabs, you guys. He says, having an 8-year-old boy, I'm feeling more and more the weight about what the world will be when he grows up. From toxic masculinity to race theory to gender theory and socialism, sometimes it seems that says a kissing battle. I think this was supposed to be a losing battle. It's not. Don't admit defeat before the war is over, my friend. Don't admit defeat. It's always worth the fight, man. You weren't an only child, were you? No, I had 2 brothers, one older, one younger, and then I had 3 foster sisters throughout my growing up years. So anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so very generous. Tonight we are on Satsu 2 Senses channel at 9 p.m. Eastern for Lords of the Night. I will probably do a game stream or take a nap. I'm not sure which. We'll figure it out as we go along. Keep an eye on Twitter, and you'll find out where I'm going to be. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. I will see you next time. Liberal women